Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft, and good news, I got both my wings today. I literally just noticed that because this is the first time I've gone into F5 to say hello, because I've been on the server for a while doing a ton of stuff, loads of little bits and bobs back in that area with our technical stuff, but this episode is going to be all about the Hermitrons. Oh yes it is, and we're going to be working on this area again. This project is a lot of fun, and I have been working on the inside area, which is now, I would say, mostly complete. There is some work needed up the top here where we have these blocks poking through, and I just don't know what to do with the ceiling, but I guess at some point, once we've built the roof, we'll probably build some arches and everything will come together. So I'm kind of happy with this. However, I'm always open for suggestions. I feel like the floor is a little bit plain at the moment, but the walls here looking fantastic. So I found a complementary gold block to go along with these ones, and what I did is I knocked out some of the bits and bobs on the front here and then added some extra pixels, so you get this pixel border right here. That actually takes it over the edge at the front there, and then when we reproduce the same thing on the top, the pixels don't quite line up. Little things like that would usually bother me, but I ain't bothered. I like it. This layout is looking pretty cool, and we have 9 on this floor, right? 4 on that side, 4 on this side over here, and the 9th one down the end. And remember, there are 9 in the beta set and 10 in the alpha set. So what we're going to be working on is creating a stairwell down to the alpha set. And this right here, by the way, is going to be like a little pedestal. So we'll have this raised up, and it's like the first thing that you see is the Hermitron pedestal and the Hermitron scoreboard. But they're just there as placeholders for now. I was thinking for the staircase, what we could do is dig something 3 wide, which would give us space for some, I don't know, like banisters around the outside, something like that. And if we come up to where we line up with that again, yeah, something like that should make a decent staircase down to the area down below. Now, what I'm concerned about is how big this staircase is going to need to be, because not only do we got to get the staircase down to the floor below, we need to have a room big enough to match what we're doing here. 7, 8, and let's add one more, 9. Okay, so we've come down by 9 blocks. Now, I counted the floor level all the way up to here, and I think that is 9 blocks, or to there is 8 blocks. So we got that, although we got to consider that this would be a block of the amount that I counted as well. So maybe this goes 1 block lower. Let's just make it bigger than it needs to be, and then we can figure out the exacts later on. If I go straight up now, are we going to be able to see all the way to the edge here? Yeah, so basically we have plenty of width to work with to create a stairwell where you can look all the way down and see where the stairs end up, and then the height of that room is going to be big enough for another set of all of these with the same layout, which is going to look really good because this is all going to be opened up. It's going to be wide. You're going to be able to see through here into the Hermitron room down below. Let's just break a little bit of this out. Do you see how my pick sort of jumps from mining it normally and then goes into instant mine? That is a thing, and it's kind of annoying. Oh, there's so much space down here in the basement. That's just fantastic. That's going to make for some easy building. So, yeah, when you walk around here, you're going to be able to look down and see those Hermitrons on display. And we're pretty much going to replicate the same layout we've got going on up here down there. And before we get to any of that, we got some important business to tend to. I need to take off this helmet. Do you know what? I was watching Fulce's video recently. She did a little tour around the base while she's been away, because she's back on the server, and built a lovely little dome. And some awesome benches. Look at those chiseled bench and a chiseled fountain. That stuff looks fantastic. But she went around the base without night vision, and it is nighttime as well. Wow, this actually looks really bad now, doesn't it? Well, luckily for me, I crafted some lights. And also, we've got a Fool's controller. I made 2 of these. I kind of realised they're so cheap to us that we might as well get everything running on a Fool's controller. Do you know what? I should make a 3rd of these, because I could put it on the loot bag system as well. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the other one in a little bit. Now, I didn't really think through where I was going to put the light sources. I did have one idea, though, which was somewhere back here we could perhaps have, you know, the Fool's controller block. We'll just use that. No, that was an accidental placement. We can have a light like that, and then the light can creep out those corners, which looks... Now we're down here. It looks fantastic. However, there isn't enough of those gaps all the way around this place to actually do that consistently. There also isn't any really like ledges on the floor. We could perhaps put it there, but then it's going over the edge and that looks horribly awkward. Maybe on the side of the Hermitron? Nope, because those blocks back there are in the way. There's not a lot of spaces to put these. Maybe we're literally just going to have to put them on top of the pillars. And if we do that, at least it lights up the top area, but it's still kind of dimmed down. Do you know what? That really ain't so bad, is it? Let's go around and put them on all of these. Well, much to my surprise, that ain't so bad. And this one right here looks about the same. Now, I was wondering if this would be affected by some light creeping from down here. Those are trying to represent where the top of the pillars would be on the floor below, right? I was thinking some of the light might creep around here. It could be just a little bit better, and what we could do is hide lighting under the carpet. We could think vanilla. However, that lighting's then going to be very bright. So maybe there's a block that can be slightly dim. We can have our bright light sources up the top and just a little bit of something dimmer down below. I've got an idea. I just had a really cool idea. So the light level here is 0, right on that block. You see it? 0. What we're going to do is put down a bit of cobblestone, and we're going to put down a bit of glowstone next to it. We're going to chisel all of that, and I wonder if we put a tiny bit of this into that, if it will emit a very low light level. So if we go single bit and replace, right, that's not emitting any light at all. So then let's undo our actions. We're still selecting the glowstone. Let's try something a little bit bigger. And I think that changed. Ooh, oh, you can see it. You don't even need me to explain what's going on. Right, how about... Oh, do you know what? Now what I want to do is make it all nice and equal, right? So what light level is that emitting? Because that feels too strong. Maybe if I just lower this with a few more little bits, then we'll have the right amount. Let's take that much out. So this emits a light level 9, which I'm kind of happy with. Maybe it should be a little bit brighter, but we'll experiment. And we'll put those in there. You see, it only makes it a little bit brighter, doesn't it? But that's the trick that we're going to deploy here. So I think I'll get this up to light level 10, and we'll place that under all of the carpets. I don't plan on spending all episode over here, but I was just appreciating the way the middle is kind of lit. I haven't really looked at this from a distance, and because we're using these chiseled blocks, the light kind of come through, which maybe looks a little bit odd. By the way, this back area right here, I accidentally chiseled the entire thing. I say chiseled, I mean vein mined, right, with my pickaxe, and I had to rebuild that today. So I've been doing a lot of construction, and if we just go down where the staircase is going to be, you can see that I've laid this out. I've kind of put the light sources on display so we know how well lit this area is going to be, and I'm really happy with that. I've done that up top as well. Basically, I realised I didn't need to keep the cobblestone. I could just use the glowstone. So we've got these little things right here, which I believe do light level 10. And that's keeping the whole thing looking good. Now, what I want to do later on in the episode is go through all our Hermitrons and sort them. So somewhere around here is where we're going to have our Hermitron grids. But in order to do that, I need to, you know, power this thing. And look at what we've got in store here, right? Well, I mentioned it earlier in the episode. It's actually that one there that we need to break. I got a Fool's controller, and then I got distracted, and I forgot to put it down here. And there we go. Now we should be able to access this thing, see all of our Hermitrons. Fantastic. I've got a couple extra to add as well, but they're not down here, are they? Anyway, I think we're done with this for today, the interiors. I've done a lot of building. Now what I want to do is focus on the outside area, this bit down here. I want to get lush. I want to put down some trees and grass and plants and flowers and make this thing really pop. Well, in order to get more of this good stuff, we need to take a trip over to the wonderfully renamed Biome Mining Stuff. I could have picked something a little better than that, I think. I like the way that when you zoom, the name gets bigger as well. That's kind of convenient. Now, normally what we've done in the past is just teleport over there, but many of you pointed out that that was actually cheaty, and it's since been removed, so we can't teleport, which is my mistake, and that means we're going to fly over there using our pet cloud. So it won't take much time at all. But as I was leaving, I remembered last time I went, I got loads of comments about making some Supremium shears. Now, these have durability unlimited. And to make them, you know, all of this little crafting tunnel, I'm thinking maybe we should start to automate some of this stuff. But anyway, we can also add something else to it as well. It adds an area of effect, which means, I believe, it is going to hit up a larger area. Let's just put this thing in here and create it quickly. There we go. So it's got shearing AOE. Let's head over to the biome and let's check it out. When we pick some things up though, what we're going to do is chuck them in our backpack. And over here what I've gone and done is attached a drawer for this. So it means I can send everything back into the system and it will just start filling up these drawers. I think it's taken me all of 15 seconds to arrive here, so really not that far away when you think about it. This fast flight though is pretty impressive. So let's check this out. If I shear a leaf block, yeah, you can see it does a larger area. If I do this, we get a few things from around here. That's cool. Now I'm wondering if it's going to affect holding down vein miner at all, as we're going to hit multiple items at once, or is it only going to vein mine the one that we originally go after? How will we test this? So if I can't fly. That's interesting. And now I can. So if I hit this thing, it would also hit those ones. If I hold down control, will it vein mine this type of leaf as well? It doesn't actually vein mine. Oh no! Are you telling me that vein miner don't work with the area of effect? Oh, they don't overlap. Well, that's kind of good and bad. Huh, I wish I hadn't put the area of effect on it now. Well, that kind of sucks. Well, with exception to vines, I can pretty much run around and instant mine things, and we're not just getting one thing at once, we're getting anything in the area of effect. So it's give and take, and I think actually this is probably not that bad compared to having vein miner. So I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna go around here and get all the things that we need. So I've been experimenting with trying to grow big trees, and I've been using this old trick and glass blocks, which you can place near a sapling as well. Now I am wearing bone meal armor. I thought I'd give this a search and see if there was anything. There's bone meal, and it feels like if you haven't bone mealed something in a while, it can be pretty quick at growing. However, with a large tree, that's not what I was looking for. Well, I made one around the corner just over here, which doesn't look so great. And I've been trying it with this type of tree, which is called the flowering oak sapling, and you just cannot get big ones of that. It seems the ones that it's spawn in the environment are part of the world gen and not the sapling spawning. So I was looking at this and I was like, it's kind of ugly because, first of all, it doesn't have those flower blocks, right? The leaf ones. And also there's all these gaps. But then it was like, well, if we fill in the gaps with the leaves like this, we're going to get a more rounded tree look, and it's already sorted out where we're going to be putting in all of these extra leaf blocks, right? And that, I think, is going to end up looking pretty decent. But as you can see, I've been experimenting with some smaller trees in this area as well, and I don't know what's going to be the right balance. I can't help but feel that maybe we shouldn't actually have a lot of trees on this island. All we're going to do is one half of this island today, and that's the half we can't currently see. So let's swing around to my favourite side. Now I like this one more, I think, because of two things. I think one of them is that tree right there, and the second thing is the leaves dripping down the side of the building. I guess it was something we built, but it's a floating island, and I think we need more of that on the other side. So this right here was actually a tree. As you can see, I've sort of plastered it with leaves, which makes it look very different. And I've thrown down some of these violet plants around the outside as well. So that just kind of ties things together a little bit. And I like the vines hanging off the, I was going to say building again, the floating island. And when they go further down, we'll trim them with string and stuff. So that's going to take some time to spread. Now moving around into this side, I've gone for a more sparse look, and I don't think it has the same effect, right? We've got a couple of trees over the end here, but really not feeling this one as much, and it felt a bit bare, so I went to grab some of the regular vanilla mushrooms. I thought that might look cool in here, and of course I can't plant them because of sunlight. I didn't really think about that. I wonder if it's the same for these. Yeah, so these ones actually glow and emit a little bit of light, but I don't think that that green fits in. It's a bit neon. That one we can probably get away with, and these ones right here are probably the best. These are all from, is it Britannia? Yeah, so that's a mod that I'm not too good at. And I don't know where I got these things from, but I kind of like them, so throwing in a few of those is kind of cool. Night is now upon us, and I did mention that the mushrooms glow. They are glowing mushrooms. They don't glow as brightly as another glowing plant over here. This is the glow flower, so they have been scattered around just to light this thing up a little bit and nice, and I think the way it's done looks really, really good. Now I'm happy with this, but I'll tell you what, I think it looked 10 times better if the grass matched the grass of the biome over here. Do you know what? There might be something in this mod pack that lets you change biomes, but let's not get distracted right now. I was going to move on to something else, and that is astral sorcery again. So what I wanted to do is come on here and spend some time learning about various bits. If we just take a step back, we're looking in the exploration part of this mod pack, and I think in order to learn it I need to spend a fair bit of time doing some off-camera stuff, right? Well, my plan was to start with this sky wave resonator, which many of you informed me about, and then I spent a very long time thinking that this didn't work. So the idea is that it shows you places with good starlight. That's the way I understood it. And it seems like over here we've got a plentiful amount of that, but I believe that's actually because it's high up in the sky. If we go down to the ground, we're supposed to be able to see like a particle effect down there, and I wasn't able to find it anywhere other than this bit over here, where it's actually kind of faint and a little bit dim. I think, have I got night vision off? I think I had night vision on, which made it worse. And that kind of makes it stand out a little bit. So here is supposedly a good spot for starlight, but there's another place just over here which is a proper patch. Unfortunately, it is right on the border, and I want to build our temple where we do all of this inside of this area. So I'm going to think that height is the way we're going to find the best way of doing this. I should really grab the cloud pet, shouldn't I? There we go. We're zooming in. Now we might be able to see it from up here. No, if we go a little bit lower. Lower again. I'm not holding the crystal. Let's try that again. So we're up high. Oh, look at that. You can see it from all the way up here. There you go. Oh, look, you can kind of see its range where it disappears. So yeah, I've been flying around. After I discovered this patch right here, I've been flying around trying to find more of them in this biome, and I haven't been able to find a single one. I reckon these things are actually really, really rare. So the next thing for us to do is an experiment and see how high into the sky we're going to go in order to get some good starlight, as I want to build a temple in the middle of this biome. I'm not sure if what's around this thing affects it much. Like, we've got a slime island above here. Some slimes just dropped down. This thing charges up pretty quickly. Let me break it and place it again, and you can see what I'm talking about. So we can watch it slide up, and right as it gets to the end there, doesn't have much trouble crossing the finish line. Now let's go down by like 5 or 6 blocks here and do it again, and you'll see that it creeps up a lot slower, and it doesn't quite get to the end. So we probably want it to go the full way across. Let's add 2 blocks there, and then check this out. Alright, so that goes all the way to the end. And what I'm thinking is that we want to have a temple that's not going to be too high. I don't want to come too far up above the tree line, but that is actually probably pretty reasonable, and we could go a little bit higher and get that faster charge up for our thing. So because of the location, we're not going to use the patch of starlight found by the Skywave Resonator. We're going to go by heights, and this is probably 1 or 2 blocks above the bare minimum. And the bare minimum might be what we end up going with, because over here you can see that I've started to outline a slope. I kind of envisioned us having a ziggurat as the heart of this whole operation, because I've been informed that we can build the largest altar, which is this one right here, and then all of the crafting that you do from all the smaller altars will work inside of this attunement altar. So we can have one big project instead of lots of little ones like I started to do over there. So I've envisioned this big ziggurat, but it needs to be fairly high up in the sky. And because of that, you can see it's going to be a very large structure that's actually going to take a lot out of this biome. And I think that means that we're going to have to move this down a little bit, move it over to the center. I just got to do a load of thinking about where it needs to go. But one thing has crossed my mind is that this doesn't have to be a 1-for-1 block slope. This could actually be a little steeper. It could perhaps go down 2 blocks at a time, something like that, which might end up looking a little bit odd. I'm not sure, but position is going to be crucial for it to look decent. This is in the exact same spot we saw a moment ago, and you shouldn't be able to spawn Mr. Skeleton with a tiger plushie because I added a mega torch, but whatever, you're there for some reason. Yeah, so I started to move around the altars a little bit, putting them over in this direction, chop down that massive tree, and finding out that although it's height based, it is location based as well. And so I decided just to stick with this spot because it seemed pretty good. Now this thing is fully charged, but it's red, and I don't know what that means. So if we use the wand on it with that recipe, it ain't going to do anything. I am a little bit unsure. I'm a little bit unsure. But anyway, we're going to focus on the structure of this thing. I was going to make it a ziggurat, sort of going downwards out in each direction, but I think that's going to end up chopping down a lot of the trees in this area. So maybe what we'll do is make it more of a tower structure and then have a staircase coming out of one of the sides. You know what? I've been playing away on this server for hours today, and I've just noticed what the time is, and I do need to wrap things up at some point. So I'm thinking that actually this project is kind of big, and we should be perhaps finishing it another day. So how about this? You tweet me your ideas for this structure. Show me something cool and tower-like using marble blocks, and other blocks as well, not just marbles, and we'll see what we can come up with together. Now I made this a little bit bigger. I thought it would be cool to have a little bit of grass around the outside, and then the tower is going to come down a little bit, and I don't know what's going to happen down here, but it's bigger because of this. And then over on this side we're going to have a staircase go out, and that will eventually link up to these projects over here, and then maybe we'll have another staircase on this side as well that will link through to Vintage Beef's area. Of course the plan has always been to try and cover the entire island, but anyway, yeah, tweet me some ideas for what you got for this. Speaking of beef, earlier in the episode I did mention I had a second Fool's controller. I thought I'd help our buddy out over here with some free power for storage, which will make anyone's life easy, right? So over here we're going to slap that thing down. Then we're going to put one of these chairs. How am I going to do this actually? I haven't thought this through fully. We'll put that on top of it. We'll put the cable from there to there, and then we'll attach that. And I believe that is a network in itself. I want to grab just one more cable here so Beef understands how it works and what to do, because it's kind of a demonstration, right? Then in here he'll see the things that he can use to expand the storage space further. And that is not the right thing. This is supposed to be I've gone and made the wrong thing. Give it back. From Asuma, no power required. What happened to the fancy modded thing? Maybe it requires a modded sign. That's just a regular sign. And there you go. Job done. So I mentioned earlier in the video that I've been tweaking with the technical stuff over here, as I always am. And let me show you some of the changes. So down here on the loot bag system, I've installed this ender chest right here. It used to be that trash can, and there is an item that cannot be used, and it is this one right here. It causes a problem. I don't know why that one. It's the only item that gets trashed that causes a problem. I'll go and show you where it causes a problem in a moment, but I've also removed another item from here, and that is the bag of holding. So let's have a little search for that, and you can see there are two different types, and it was trashing both of them, and that one is a bag of gems. And I was kicking myself when I found out about this. A few people have mentioned it in the comments, got a few tweets as well. All of those things we were looking for the other day, we had them all along, but I was trashing them. And you know what? We could actually create a system to perhaps open these automatically and put them into the main storage system, so I'll hold on to that. But anyway, what we're doing is we're taking all the items we'd normally trash and we're putting them to good use, because we do have a little system installed for getting those trash bags, and you can actually trash regular items from the loot bags and turn those into loot. So that other ender chest is right here, and what happened is my entire storage system backed up and had all of those engineer goggles blocking up every single slot. But because of that, we now produce a ton more loot a lot quicker. I think this thing is like 10 times faster than any of the cobblestone that comes into here. You can see the value of what we've got at the moment and how close it is to the next loot bag. And so because of that, down here you're going to see that the numbers have all just jumped up massively, which is pretty cool. So we have lots of building blocks, and I was watching Iskal's video, who by the way was doing the same system that I was doing over here. Okay, now Iskal is the modded expert, and I need to go read the comments on his video to see if anyone had a go at him for doing the same system that I did, because, you know, sometimes I think people assume I'm not that smart, and they'd be right for the most part, but this was a pretty good idea if Iskal was doing it as well. Then over here I saw in his video that he also used these color cables. So if we go and search up the cable term right here, you'll see that you can make different colored ones using dyes and these types of cables, which are made with those ones. So that's pretty cool. And then you can put these storage monitor screens on it. So when you take like an item and you click on it, it then tells you how many of that item are in the system. So remember, our system scans the colossal chest over there. So we know how many of those we got. How much quartz do we have? it's going to tell us. That's a heck of a lot. It's going to tell us, and I'm not sure where exactly those could be useful, but I really like the idea of using them. And another thing you'll see I've done is I've extended the amount of these molecular assemblers. They are now doing some more items, and I've done these in alphabetical order. So slowly what I'm going to do is go through these one by one and start adding them here. Now whenever one has more than one recipe, what I'm going to do is write it down on a sign over here, and eventually we'll come back to these ones and we'll make a system that can divvy up the materials and craft all the different things from the essence at once, which is kind of cool. My comment to mention here though that I want some feedback on is this is going to look ridiculous, man. This is going to end up being a very long hall. And so I think what we might do is just cap the hall off at the end there and make it so there's a door or some sort of entrance into an area, and this could actually be like a giant room with all of these molecular assemblers in, or something along those lines, you know, because we're going to end up needing hundreds of them basically. I was serious. I went and read every single comment on Iskal's video, and I'm not even kidding. Not one person telling him he was doing it wrong. There was like one or two suggestions to do things a little bit different, but not a single suggestion. Man, I don't know how I feel about that, okay? I got paragraph comments telling me that I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, anyway, my system works, okay? Leave me alone. Where did I put the rest of these frames? Are they over in here? Are you now in here? Hi. I should have a stack of these somewhere. Right, because there's two Hermitrons here. What we're going to do, that sounds very Iskal. I've had the Iskal video on, you see, I was reading the comments. What we're going to do is we're going to put all of the Hermitrons into these over here. We're going to sort them out. We're not going to have full sets for all of these, so I'm actually probably doing this in the wrong order, because if we have a full set, then I don't need all of these item frames, do I? And, oh, another thing that we need to do is put those blocks in place for the second floor. Did I keep some of them on me? I did, yes, because we're going to do the ones down here as well. Even though this room ain't even finished yet. Are you in the correct place? I need to kind of double check. So if we just look at the bottom of the pillar, there's two. It's the third and then one across. So from the bottom, 1, 2, third and one across. Excellent. I'm going to put all of those in place. Then we're going to sort out these Hermitrons. This is a fantastic project. I'm having such a good time with this, sorting through all of the Hermitrons and seeing how many we have to go. For the most part, we've gathered tons and tons of them, and check this out, where we're missing two in this set, what I've been doing is I've been putting in these ones without the gold border on, which I think looks really nice. Like once you've got the item in there, it's highlighted by the gold border, but it also looks fantastic when you've completed a set as well. It's much easier on the eyes because there's less, like, you know, stuff going on in this texture without that border. So that's looking really cool, and these are going in reverse order, by the way. So this is number 8, then we have number 7, we've completed number 6, and that's actually the only set that we can complete. So as we go around here, you're not going to see any complete sets on the wall, and you can see where we're missing some as well. I think there's like one set out of all of them where we're missing a common. Most of them are missing rares or a mythic or sometimes an uncommon. So you can see we haven't got a mythic on that set there, but we need 2 more of them to go. Let's pop down to the room down below. So it's the same business again on this one. I'll quickly just shuffle around so you can see all the cool Hermitrons and the ones that we need to collect. It feels like the alpha sets are a lot more complete in general, and that one there is missing one uncommon and both of the rares, but we do have the mythic. And yeah, so although it looks like we've done a lot, it will probably take us a very long time to get the last of them. And this set over here, by the way, that's where we're missing a common. It looks slightly different from this one, doesn't it? That's because the colours of the borders are kind of a little bit different. But yeah, there's one more set on this floor because, of course, it is the alpha set, which has 10, and the beta set has 9. And that has well and truly brought us to the end of this episode, and if I get a chance, I'm hoping to do some exploring and catch some more Hermitrons between now and the next one. But that is it from me. If you've enjoyed the episode, leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. So ciao for now. Bye bye.